Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, my name is Nancy. Please subscribe, share and like my videos, and also put on the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. In our previous tutorial, I explained how to cut this off-shoulder dress with double sleeve, and I'll be dropping the link in the description box. So let's get started with the stitching. For the upper part of this dress, this is the front piece. So the first thing to do is to use a paper stay to gum the full side of the wrong part of the fabric, and 1 inch after the chest line to the under bust, I placed 3 pieces of the paper stay in form of a cup. For the lining, I also placed the paper stay exactly the way I did for the ankara. The next step is to place this side of the bust on the center piece, then you sew by 1/2 inch, and you also place the other side on the center piece to sew by 1/2 inch. And the lining should also be sewn the same way. After stitching, the next step is to notch the under bust and the curved side of the bust. After notching, I'll open the seam by pressing flat. Please also take note that for the under bust seam, it should be ironed flat separately. Then the other curved side of the bust should be ironed separately. Do not iron them together, because ironing the seam together won't make the bust pronounced compared to when the seams are ironed separately. Obviously, you can see that the waistline isn't straight anymore because of the seam we attached, and that's the reason I added 1 inch to the length of the waistline when I did the cutting. For the back piece, I gummed a single piece of the paper stay on it, and I also did the same for the lining. The next step is to take the pieces to the sewing machine to secure the darts by 1/2 inch. And you also secure the darts on the lining. After securing the darts, I'll place the back piece on each other to fold in the zipper allowance. The next step is to place the front piece on the back piece to be sure that the sides are equal, because usually after attaching the seam, the shape of the waistline won't be straight anymore. The under bust for my clients is 12.5 inches. So what I'll do is to place 12.5 inches on the under bust. So this is 15 inches, which is a half length. Now I'll add 1/2 inch sewing allowance to which I'll be attaching the skirt, and that will be 15.5 inches. I'll place the ruler on the waistline to extend the 1/2 inch point I marked. Obviously, the waistline is straight now. This cutting technique is very important. When making a peplum top and you apply these cutting techniques to it, it levels the peplum properly on the waist. So remember that the half length I used when I did the cutting was 16 inches, but now after the trimming it became 15.5 inches, meaning that I'll be using half inch to attach the skirt. For the back piece, I'm going to take out half an inch on the waistline, and the reason for this is because I want the center back of the waistline to relax on my client's waist and to avoid a bulge zipper. Now on this center back, I'll mark half an inch, which I'll connect to the edge of the waistline as shown. You can see that the waist curved in a little, and this will reduce the extra piece that results to bulge at the back. Now the next step is to place the back piece on the lining to trim out the extra pieces at the edges, and also place the front piece on the front piece lining to trim out the excess pieces at the edges. Alright guys, this is all for the upper part of the dress. Now for the down part of the dress, which is the skirt. This is the front piece of the skirt, and I also placed it on the lining to cut out. Remember that when we did the cutting of the skirt, we added 2 inches to the length as a sewing allowance. Now I'll deduct that 2 inches from the lining. For the down part of the lining, I usually gum a 10 inches paper stay for it to add a little weight at the down and to avoid the center of the front piece from entering in between the legs when walking. I also placed the back piece on the lining to cut out. So now I'm going to trim out the 2 inches from the length of the lining. Now I've gummed the paper stay on the down part of the lining. The next step is to secure the skirt dart for both the Ankara and the lining separately. I've secured the darts. The next step is to attach the upper part of the dress to the down part of the dress by half an inch. Please also attach the lining the same way I did for the Ankara. Step is to place the right side of the lining on the right side of the Ankara. Now I'll take this to my sewing machine to secure just the neckline by 1/2 inch, then I'll top stitch the lining. For the back piece, I'll also place the right side of the lining on the right side of the Ankara. Then I'll take this to the sewing machine to secure the neckline by 1/2 inch. Then I'll also top stitch the neckline on the lining. The next step is to place both the hem of the Ankara and the lining equally. Then I'll take this to the sewing machine to secure the hem by 1/2 inch. Here I'll also secure the hem of the back piece by 1/2 inch. The next step is to secure the sides by 1/2 inch. I'll also secure the sides of the back piece by 1/2 inch. The next step is to notch the sides after you have secured them. So you can now turn it to the right side of the fabric. To mark the zipper allowance on the back piece, I'll fold the front piece into two, then I'll place it on the back piece. After getting the zipper allowance at the back, to attach the zipper, I'll be using a zipper length of 24 inches. So instead of 24 inches, I'll mark 21 inches. So I'm going to use a loose stitch to attach this zipper allowance. And after sewing the dress, I will loose the stitch to fix the zipper itself. Now on this point, I'll mark 12 inches and that will be sewn with a tight stitch. Then from this point down to the hem will be the slit of the dress. Now I'll open this up to mark the bust circumference, the waist and the hip circumference. Now I'll place the back piece on the front piece to secure the sides following the line I chalked. Alright guys, we are almost done. The next step is to sew the sleeves. It's a double sleeve, and the first thing I'm going to do is to secure the hem of the larger sleeve by folding 1 inch and further folding it by 1 inch. So this fold is for the elastic casing at the bottom. For the smaller sleeve, I'll be folding the hem by 1/2 inch and further folding it in by 1/2 inch. And this is because I won't be passing an elastic into it. After folding the hem of both the short and the long sleeve, I'll place the short sleeve on the longer sleeve equally at the top. Then I'll fold the top in by 1 inch to which an elastic will be passed through. The off-shoulder sleeve for this client is 8 inches, but I'll be making use of an elastic band of 6 inches for the top part of the sleeve. Then for the down part of the sleeve, and the round sleeve is 11 inches, so I'll be making use of 9 inches elastic band for the bottom part of the sleeve. After passing the elastic in the elastic casing down, you also pass the shoulder elastic in the elastic casing up. Now you can use a pin to secure the edges of the elastic casing. Now I'll take this to my sewing machine to secure the side by 1 inch. The final step is to attach the sleeve to the armhole of the dress. And also repeat the same sewing process for the second sleeve of the dress. Alright guys, thanks for watching to the very end. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, share and like my videos, and please also put on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos.